In the PLEXOS interface, to complete this exercise, we can continue building on the database that has been set up for the previous exercises. The first step is to check whether the fuel class is enabled or not. If it is not enabled, we go into the config menu and make sure that this checkbox is selected. Any other properties that are required for completing this exercise or for your modeling needs can be selected from this drop-down list. In this exercise, we require the price property, and that is selected. With the required property selected, we can click OK to come back to this main window. Now I will create two fuel objects. One is going to be the coal fuel, and once I use the wizard to create the coal fuel, it brings me to this screen. I can click OK to go back to the main screen or start putting in the properties in this window itself. For the moment, I'm going to go back to the main screen and create the second fuel object. The gas fuel will be created in a slightly different way than how I created the coal fuel. Click on the Objects tab and type in the fuel name under the name column. You'll notice that the gas fuel object shows up on this left side as well. With these two objects created, the next step would be to create memberships between the fuel objects and the generator objects. I can do so by highlighting the coal generator and dragging and dropping the coal fuel into the corresponding collection. Another way to do this would be to double-click on the fuel object. On the left side, double-click the generators collection and select the two generators which will be burning gas and move them to the right. With this done, I can click on Close to come back to this screen and then OK to go back to the main window. Now the objects have been created and memberships have also been established. I can verify that by highlighting any of the fuel objects and taking a look at this upper half of the central section of this window. I also need to put in the price properties for the two objects. I can do this by highlighting the fuel class and then clicking here, or I could have clicked on the Properties tab up here as well. And now in this lower right half, I can select the fuel type and put in the corresponding value. You'll notice the units here are dollars for every MMBTU. For gas, the price is $3 for every MMBTU. And because we are modeling fuels explicitly, I can delete the fuel price that we had put in on the generator objects in our previous exercises. These three rows can now be deleted. Once this setup is complete, I can go to the Simulation tab, locate the model that is going to be run, check the simulation horizon by double-clicking on the horizon object. In this case, I can set this up for 1 day. Let's run this for 2019 and synchronize to planning horizon so that the planning horizon and ST schedule have the same simulation period. And then I can click OK. It is also important to make sure that the properties that need to be viewed in the output are selected in the report object prior to running the simulation. Here I can highlight the field list and locate the fuel class and select whichever properties I would like to see in the output. For this simulation, I would also like to see the fuel offtake on a generator-wise basis. So I can select the generator.fuel's offtake property. Once this setup is complete, note that I'm running only the ST phase, which is set to nodal transmission detail. I can right-click on the model and click execute. In this half, I can see that the model that is going to be run is queued. I can then click execute, which brings up this simulation console. And once the simulation is complete for the one day that we have selected, it'll give us a message stating the same. And we can close the simulation console and open the solution by right-clicking on the model and selecting Open Solution. To see the fuel offtake, I can highlight the fuel class, select the property that I would like to query, in this case offtake, make sure that the simulation phase is ST. I'm going to query it on an hourly basis, which in this exercise corresponds to interval, and I'm going to query it for the day for which the simulation was run. With these set up, I can then click execute, and this gives me the offtake for each type of fuel on an hourly basis over the simulation horizon. To view this output graphically, I can click on the chart tab, which gives me this plot. I can hover over any of the lines, and it gives me an additional text box with the timestamp and the value corresponding to that timestamp. In case you're unable to see this text box, click on the chart tab at the top and make sure Series Tooltips is selected. Once these outputs have been queried, it is also possible to export them to a spreadsheet by clicking on this Excel option or selecting one of the options by clicking on that drop-down. Any other properties that need to be queried need to have been selected in the report object prior to running the simulation. Thank you for watching.